this week, from Akihabara all the way to Shinjuku, as I actually tried to explore all the stuff that I really wanted to see and all the stuff to see what was new as well. For one thing, I actually went up to the gamers as usual, where a bunch of new pop-up stores had come up. To be expected, considering it's been a little while since I last went there. For one, there was actually the pop-up store for the Yuri anime series from 2 seasons ago with a really long name that would take up too much time of this 3-minute limited video on YouTube for the short. So I'm gonna skip the name. Really like the series. The goods in the pop-up store, they felt a little devoid of Yuri, since a lot of it is just like pushing the characters individually themselves. So that was a little unfortunate, but it's kind of cool to see the series doing well enough to be getting goods for it as well. Aside from that, there's also one for High School DxD that actually looked a little bit sussy. A little more so than the previous High School DxD pop-up stores. I feel like this one in particular seemed a little more fan servicey. It still surprises me to no end that this series gets as much goods as it does, especially since I feel like now they're like pushing like some alternate universe thing that's going on at the same time with like a whole different High School DxD universe or something. So don't really know what's going on in the series anymore, but it's really cool to see it still getting some love nonetheless. Aside from that, there's also one for Shumatsu Touring, the series where it's like they're traveling and touring at the end of the world sort of thing. What I found interesting about this one was just the fact that they actually had a digital stamp rally that they were advertising within the pop-up store itself. Although the digital stamp rally was such a pain to get into that it being around 8 PM by the time I got there, I was just so tired I actually didn't participate in it in the end. What they needed you to do was to scan the QR code at that point itself within the store, and then they would send you an email that you had to enter onto the page that would appear, and then you had to go to your email address and then open the page, and then from there you can start the stamp rally. It was all very long, and I didn't really want to end up doing a stamp rally until 2 in the morning and being stuck outside having to walk home, so kind of gave up on it. Additionally, over at Archfare, they were actually having a pop-up store for Gochiusa as well, and for Gochiusa, I feel like the series does get a lot of love, so it was like something that I feel like I've seen on a yearly basis. Either way, it's still kind of cool to see that like this series is still ongoing and as popular as it is. Like, it's one of those series where it feels a lot like one of those like more moe cutesy animes that you'd think there are so many of them that people kind of like will eventually like move on to something else, kind of like with how like with K-On, like while it still has its fans, it isn't like that insanely popular anymore within Japan. But hey, it does seem like Gochiusa still, maybe because of the fact that it's still ongoing, it's still actually getting quite a lot of love, so that is really cool to see. Aside from that, there was also a pop-up store for Osomatsu-san, the series with all of the otaku seem to be really into. I'm not very familiar with the series itself, although like the art does remind me a little bit of Doraemon. That's the one thing that like really stuck with me the most. It's kind of crazy to see that series still doing as well as it does to this day. I mean, good for the people who love it, so I'm just glad that they get the run that they do. Aside from that, in the store there was also a Zombieland Saga pop-up store going on, except now it's like old school Gyaru themed, so if you're feeling old like me, this will probably look the type of like Gyaru costume clothing designs that you have seen from like maybe 15 years ago. So yeah, great to feel old once again. That's all for me for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one when I